Hey, I'm going to be doing a quick review for Commander Cherry for the Kinect. Commander Cherry is basically a mix between a platformer and a yoga simulator, basically. It's available for the PlayStation Camera for the PlayStation 4, which I have not tried, and it released on August 14th for the Kinect. Now, the game isn't that expensive, but for what you get, it is a little bit pricey. It's $10. And that's if you buy it this week. It's actually, I think, like $15 if you don't buy it this week. So it's a little bit pricey for what you get, but it's not a bad game overall, especially when you consider the uniqueness of it. So what you do is you basically solve puzzles using platforming-like techniques, but you use your body to create snapshots for platforms. Now, there's a little bit more advanced later on where you actually have to create multiple snapshots within, like, one jumping segment. And as you can see in this video, for instance, like, you have to create a snapshot where you got to avoid these tentacle-like characters and basically use your body for your little buddy, I guess, Captain Cherry, to be able to jump on it and collect these orbs. And you have to collect every single orb to continue, and some of them can be fairly complex. So you got to really be careful how you contort your body to get it to work. Otherwise, you can accidentally, especially when you have multiple contortions in one platforming segment, you can accidentally bump yourself. So there you go. So you got a little bit of a problem there. Now, I've talked a little bit about the gameplay, and you can kind of see it in the video. You get the idea of what it is. You can move forward and backwards to scale your character to the size of the platform you need to build, but there's some problems with it, and you can see in the video. First off, it doesn't quite capture you that well. Anyone that's played Kung Fu High Impact or Shape Up knows that the Kinect typically does a better real-life capture than this. This reminds me of the PlayStation 3's capturing capability, where it kind of green screens you in. I think they could have done a little bit better job, but the tracking seems okay. The big issue I find is sometimes my arm lengths don't get picked up, and I'm not really sure why. Another issue I ran into is I had to tilt my Kinect way down. Mine's on the top of the TV, so this may or may not be a problem for you, but it's just something you may have to consider if your Kinect's mounted at the top. And then, of course, if I ever have to want to play any other Kinect games, I'll have to recalibrate it. So there's that. There is a calibration screen at the beginning of the game to give you an idea what you have to do, but I think they could have done a better job with that. It does seem a little bit short. There aren't many worlds, and they're basically all the same thing. Each world adds a little bit more of a gimmick where you got to be careful of where you jump or where you set your character. Or maybe you have one where you actually use a laser to trim off some of your character to move on. So it also allows you to basically avoid that issue where I talked about, where you have multiple poses you have to make for one platforming segment. Use this laser to trim off your character. But, all in all, considering that there aren't a lot of Kinect games, this reminds me of a game called Fru, which was supposed to come out for the Kinect, and to the best of my knowledge, it still hasn't come out. And it's almost the same idea, except for Fru, you play live video, whereas this, you actually are capturing an image of you to create the platform. But it's still a creative use of Kinect. It's a creative use of the PlayStation Camera, and it's kind of a genre all in its own. It's a mix of puzzle gaming, a yoga simulator, and platforming. So I rather liked it. I think it's cute and charming. Achievements are very hard to come by. I haven't come up with any achievements in my play. Granted, I haven't quite finished the game. I'm probably 3/4 of the way through, but that also tells you how short it is. You could probably finish it in one sitting / standing up segment in probably less than 60 minutes, so don't expect it to be that long. The challenge is basically to end up with a high score, to get as many orbs as possible. Every time you reset your character, it resets some of the score or takes it away, so you really want to be careful with how you pose your character. Otherwise, you'll end up with no points like I did at the end of the level. So that's kind of your replayability. There is multiplayer. Of course, there's a couple ways you can play multiplayer. You can play 2 characters at once with the joystick, the controller, I should say. Or it would be interesting is to have one person play the platforming segment with the controller and the other one do the poses. So, I mean, it's a pretty creative use of Kinect. It's not a bad game. It's worthy probably of about $5, but again, there aren't many Kinect games, so beggars can't be choosers, and I know I say this in all the reviews. I think it's better than Squid Hero. It's probably up there with like Boom Ball for Kinect. It's not a bad game to pick up. For $5 when it goes on sale, pick it up. Thanks for watching.